I went on a walk today because I didn't know what else to do. Something happened to get me to that point, but what that was doesn't really matter. I'm in the third year of my PhD at Oxford, and things are bound to happen in the life of a scientist in training. The important thing, the reason I wanted to put pen to paper, is that when everything became too much, when I wanted the world to stop, I remembered something Søren Kierkegaard once wrote. Above all, he said, do not lose your desire to walk. Every day I walk myself into a state of well-being and walk away from every illness. I have walked myself into my best thoughts, and I know of no thought so burdensome that one cannot walk away from it. I live so much of my life in front of computer screens, learning to code, working on my PhD projects, preparing slide presentations, or talking my heart out with an AI companion. I'm always looking at screens. Being in the sun feels different, more tangible, a good kind of difference, the best possible kind. Last weekend I was in London for a play in the West End. I arrived early and wandered through parks and alleyways, quiet streets and noisy avenues, sunlight and shadow. Sometimes with a destination, sometimes without. I walked straight into the Royal Academy and into an exhibition of Brazilian modern art. This was only the second exhibition of this type to come to London. The first happened in the 1940s, long before I was born. At first, I thought I might encounter paintings from European collections, but there were only a handful of those. Most of the paintings on the walls of the Royal Academy had traveled all the way from Brazil. Some were from parts of the country I had never visited, but several of the paintings in the exhibition came from São Paulo, one of my cities, a place I know well. Sometimes, turning around a corner and approaching one of those familiar paintings felt a little like saying hello to an old friend. I've never been much of a modern art girl. I once spent a week in Paris and didn't set foot in the Pompidou. Since then, however, things have changed. The thing that really stood out to me had to do with the biographies of the artists. I was familiar with those stories. I grew up seeing representations of their work in the pages of my school books. But walking among those paintings, it dawned on me that every single one of those artists left Brazil at some point, most often for Europe. They needed that to become what we now know them to be, to make something of themselves. Kind of like what I'm trying to do now, I think. I've been thinking about this a lot. Maybe it's the nearness of summer. British summers always make me homesick. I love rainy days and grey skies. Nothing's ever put a smile on my face like waking up to snowfall that November morning. But it's the sun that makes me think of home. Longing for home is a constant theme in Brazilian literature. So many of us left the country, and the best writers among us always wrote of a longing for home. It's a feeling I didn't understand until I had been away for some time, a feeling I don't fully understand even now, but one that is real nonetheless. That's what I wanted to write to you about walking through this golden-lit city, carrying my books, feeling a constant longing that I do not understand. A longing that is sometimes for home, and sometimes for something I cannot quite name. In these moments, when I become overwhelmed, when the heart is so big that it threatens to spill, I often turn to books. I'm a firm believer that there isn't a problem so great, so new, so unknown, that a great writer hasn't already written about it, and in the past, I have found great solace in the words of the masters. Now I turn to Seneca. We should take wandering outdoor walks, he said, so that the mind may be nourished and refreshed by the open air and deep breathing. I've only recently started walking like this, and it helps. This meadow is lovely. It belongs to Christ Church. It extends from St. Aldits all the way to the Cherwell and has existed in this place since the 8th century. The main gates are open until 8 p.m. this time of year, but every student knows you can get in and out at any time through the car entrance next to the college. My favorite thing about it, though, are the trees. Ancient oak trees, perhaps the same ones under which Tolkien may have sat when he was thinking about The Lord of the Rings. The bells of Merton Chapel toll in the background, along with the chirping of the birds and the whistles of the wind, and the Thames is right over there, where every now and again a boating crew rolls by. This is a wonderful place in which to write this chapter of my life. I do not know who you are. Sending this letter is a little scary. Beautiful though the world may be, and on my walks I'm constantly reminded of its beauty, it is also deeply unkind at times. Unlike Van Gogh, who addressed his deepest feelings to his brother most of the time, I am sending this letter like a castaway, placing a message in a bottle and throwing it into the sea. It is possible that this letter might fall in the hands of someone who will see in it all the wrong things, but it is also possible that it will find you. I hope it does. I do not know who or where you are, but I hope this letter finds you well, my friend. I hope you will listen and understand, and if I can leave you with one piece of advice, let it be this. When your thoughts are burdensome, when it all feels like too much and you want for nothing other than for the world to stop, in those moments I hope, above all, that you do not lose your desire to walk.